and welcome to the Weird Around Illinois podcast. Today we are going to talk about our recent trip to McHenry County, Illinois, to investigate an old sighting of one of our favorite cryptids, Dogman. So let's get weird. This particular sighting happened in 2006, I believe, and I found it on Linda Godfrey's webpage, among her other Dogman and werewolf sightings. You found it somewhere else, right?
Yeah, I found it on a map. I can't remember who it's from.
It's probably one of those, Dogman project maps or something like that.
I think it's from Cloaked Hedgehog.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cloaked Hedgehog, okay. Yeah, I mean, in McHenry, there's been a lot of other things than Dogman. It's a place for Mothman, UFOs, ghosts. Actually, I'm assuming like just ghosts was maybe like in a cemetery within the area.
Yeah, there were a couple haunted cemeteries in the area. There was some, the Cuba Road thing. I mean, most of that was in Lake County, but I think it actually crossed over into McHenry at the far end. So I kind of linked that together. And the UFOs, I mean, when we talked to Marie, that was in McHenry County, where she was seeing the UFOs and crashing hot air balloons and everything else.
Right.
Yeah. So, McHenry County could be another one of those hot spots, kind of like Elk Grove Village, where things just seem to happen. So some of the areas of interest that we were looking at when we looked at the map and tried to track down the exact location of this sighting, first of all, the Fox River runs right through the sighting area, and this connects to a greater theory that we've been working on. I call it the river theory. We believe, based on the stories that we've read and the research that we've done, that Dogman is a migratory beast, and we believe he is coming south for the winter and heading north in the summer. And that leads you to the question of how the heck is he doing that? And my answer is rivers. Every major river has a strip of woods around it. Sometimes a big strip of woods, sometimes a small strip of woods. The Fox River in particular, which goes up north all the way to Wisconsin, pretty darn close to Elkhorn, I believe, has a pretty thick stretch of woods around it in most places. And if Dogman is traveling along that river, he can conceal himself in that woods. And I think the key to finding Dogman is to stick to these river trails. So there's a state park near the sighting location, and that state park actually has a really big stretch of woods around it. So my thought was that if Dogman was following the river, that would probably be an area he would stop. Because there's got to be a lot of animals around there. Humans leave their garbage behind. Probably a lot of it is edible to him. So it seemed like a good place to check out. There's the cemetery. Somebody claimed they saw Dogman coming out or going into the cemetery when they crossed this major road, Highway 31. We did our detective work, and it looks like the cemetery they were talking about was McMillan Cemetery. It's on 31 in McHenry, very close to the Fox River. It's also interesting to note that Dogman often seems to be linked to these cemeteries.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about it already. We're probably going to talk about it again. I don't understand what the fascination is with the cemeteries unless he truly is a mythical beast guarding the dead.
Yep. Maybe he's the hellhound.
Yeah.
Just people are mistaking it for something else.
Or he's the spirit of, some dead Native American protector. I know they talk about seeing him in burial mounds and such as well, especially in Wisconsin. So we started our investigation by driving basically along the Fox River. We came down through Burton's Bridge and came kind of weaving back and forth through the various wooded areas and fields that run along the river. And I gotta say, it looked a lot like Elkhorn. Thin stretches of woods, big fields, and every single one of them you just expect to see Dogman. We finally got to the state park, and I believe it was technically closed when we got there, but they hadn't closed the gate yet. So we took some liberties and went walking around in the dark.
Yeah. Now, at that one area, you could see, like, on one side, it was pure forest. On the other, it was fields.
Right.
That would be a perfect spot for Dogman to come out of the woods, maybe go to a barn that was within the area, and, you know, hunt for prey.
Yeah. We did pass a lot of barns, too, that had all kinds of livestock.
Right.
I'd really be curious to hear if any of them are ever missing pigs or chickens or anything like that.
Yeah, that is prime Dogman territory.
And inside that woods you were talking about is the Fox River. I mean, it was so close we could actually hear it rushing. So,
Right.
I mean, everything was lining up as a good spot. And the first thing that I noticed when we got there was the sound of the geese. They were kind of in the distance, but they were really agitated. I mean, they just would not stop squawking. Now, it is the beginning of nesting season, so they get very protective, but they don't squawk for nothing. So something was coming close to their nests and causing them to squawk like that.
Yeah, it was happening for so long, though. It wasn't just, like, maybe for a few minutes, but it was constant.
Yeah, I think even when we left, they kept squawking.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then there was nothing, no other noise within the area.
No, absolutely nothing. No noise, no signs of other animals, no scurrying, rodents or anything, no birds chirping in the trees, no owls. It was eerie.
In all of these areas that we're going to, we're starting to notice that there's just no noise.
Yeah.
Is there a reason to that?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was a little cold, maybe we're a little early in the season, but, I've walked in the woods other places, well, you have too, in the last few weeks, and
Yeah.
there's been wildlife. I mean, not a ton of it, but it's out there.
Yeah, it's noticeable.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we decided since we weren't hearing any animal sounds, maybe we'd create some of our own. And I did a couple howls and a couple barks. That first howl that I did, I really believe I heard something in the distance, like far to the south of us. It sounded like a bark or a howl or something in response. And it was so distant, it could have been a dog, it could have been a wolf. I heard something. Second howl, though, nothing.
Well, there's something that I haven't told you yet.
Uh-oh.
On the second time, I'm not sure if it was just my mind, but I could have sworn that I heard either some kind of chain noise or it's just some kind of noise in the forest. It probably wasn't a chain noise, but it was some kind of noise towards the forest. I couldn't really notice what it was, but after that I heard nothing. It was very faint.
What was that Mountain Monsters episode where they kept hearing the change?
It was, I remember that kind of part, but it ended up just being some speakers, like on trees.
But the reason they did it is because the blood wolves were scared of the chain.
Oh yeah, smoke wolves.
Smoke wolves, yes. Sorry, not blood wolves, smoke wolves. So the guy had put the speakers out there with the rattling chain to try to scare the smoke wolves away.
Yeah, it's really funny, but no, that's really what it sounded like.
Huh. Interesting. Well, so maybe the howls got a little bit more than we thought they did. Certainly a place I think we should go back to. And speaking of our cryptid hunting gear, we did bring some gear with us this time.
Yeah, I mean, we had our night vision camera, we had our red light. We used that to look for shines, like eye shine.
Right. And again, nothing. I shined that thing every direction. I went all the way down to the river's edge, shined it up and down the riverbank.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Last time we went to a forest preserve, there was deer there. It was pretty cold anyway.
That's
but we
true.
still saw deer.
Yeah.
And we got plenty of eye shines from them.
Yeah.
But this time there was nothing. But
yeah, we saw you saw what, 2 deer on the drive or 1 deer?
I saw a few deer on the drive,
Yeah.
but I think that was a little ways away from
Yeah.
that area.
I think that was even before we got to the river.
I think so.
yeah, but we had cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to look over all that footage and
Yeah.
see.
And we even had the the dash cam running while we were driving through the area.
Right.
So it was
It makes it much easier anyway to see things.
yeah. After we finished the state park investigation, we actually went to the spot where the Dogman sighting took place, which was right on 31 near McMillan Cemetery. And the cemetery itself was locked up, so we couldn't go in. It was next to a big public works building that was fenced in.
Yeah.
So we did our usual, slow cruise, check around, see if anything jumps out of the bushes. And then as we were coming back past it a second time, we saw something kind of odd. There was a big SUV had pulled over, and there was a guy who got out with these two huge dogs.
It couldn't have been a coincidence.
No.
That was perfect timing. Like right as we passed through and then passed back, they were there.
Yeah, and at first I thought it was a guy just letting his dogs out because they had to use, you had to use the bathroom or something, for lack of a better term. But it really didn't look like it. It looked like these were like tracking dogs or something, and he was trying to pick up a scent or look for something. They looked almost like police dogs. The car itself, back to our last podcast, it was a black SUV. I didn't see any police markings on it. Yeah. So maybe we attracted more attention than we wanted to with our Men in Black podcast. But it was a little odd.
Yeah.
And the guy did give us a hard stare when we drove by too. It was a little unnerving.
Yeah, I was starting to question if we were gonna get followed.
Yeah, me too. Luckily you couldn't get the dogs in the car fast enough to follow us. I kind of hit the gas when we got back on 31.
Yeah, we never stopped.
No, we did not stop until we hit our next destination, which was the restaurant. As always, we try to mix a little food in with our adventures, and we went to an old favorite restaurant of ours. We went to the Round the Clock restaurant in Crystal Lake, which I'm going to preface this by saying that we've been there many times, and the food has always been special, and it's always been great. And in particular, I remember their prime rib special that they have on Friday, Saturday, Sunday being just incredible. Some of the best I've ever had.
I know I've had hamburgers from there. They've been really good.
Yeah. But this time...
It was downhill. Just to sum it up.
It was. I mean, it started with me finding out they didn't have the prime rib special. I thought we'd come on a Wednesday last time, but it was actually a Sunday, so I was a little disappointed at that.
Hey, that could be our fault.
Yeah.
It's not theirs.
No, definitely not. That was just me. But I get a glass of water and it tastes like motor oil. I mean, it was absolutely the worst glass of water I've ever had in my life. Usually I can tolerate any water. I mean, water's water, but this was undrinkable.
Yeah.
I actually had to order a soft drink because I couldn't drink the water. And then we ordered our food, and the food ranged from really bad to average. And in particular, I got a roast beef sandwich, and when I tasted it, it was like, okay, this is lunch meat. This isn't like real cooked roast beef. This is somebody opened a package of Hillshire Farms or Budig roast beef and slapped it on a piece of bread and said, "Here's your sandwich."
Wow.
And then you had the fettuccine, which is usually your favorite wherever you go.
Yeah, the fettuccine alfredo. Most of the time, I find that food really good. This was the worst fettuccine alfredo I've ever had.
Oh,
and I'm not afraid to admit it.
Yeah, I was gonna have that like for lunch, but like from leftovers, but like nobody would have it except for me. But after hearing everybody taste it, I didn't want to in the end.
Yeah. I had it anyway. The leftovers weren't any better.
Yeah.
And you were trying everything. You were throwing salt and pepper, and I think there was some lemon pepper involved at one point.
Even on the leftovers, I put a bunch of salt on the leftovers, and I didn't taste any salt.
That was disappointing. And you know, one of our biggest disappointments is that as we're driving up, we see this huge sign under their restaurant sign saying "fresh strawberry pie."
Oh yeah.
And through the whole meal, we're like, you know what? As bad as things have gotten here, at least we got that fresh strawberry pie to look forward to at the end. And then we placed our dessert order, and they said we're out of strawberry. That was sad.
Yeah.
I have no other word for it. Just sad.
Yeah.
But then end up getting cherry pie.
Yeah, and it was okay.
Yeah, it was okay.
You know. But again, it's not a bad restaurant. You know, this is one bad time out of 4 or 5, 6 times, however many times we've been there, and the others were all top-notch, excellent. So yeah, anybody can have a bad night. So our conclusions on the trip as a whole. What are your thoughts about Dogman and McHenry?
I think that area of McHenry was prime, just perfect. That one forest preserve and
State Park?
State Park, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. It really reminded me of Bray Road,
Mm-hmm.
Elkhorn. Just a lot of open area, yet a lot of trees as well. Another spot, so it's really good.
Yeah, I agree. As I mentioned, I everywhere I looked, I expected to see Dogman. I think we may have been there at just the wrong time of the year. I think it may still be a little cold for him to be this far north.
Yeah.
He may be down in southern Illinois or Kentucky, and I think it would probably be wise for us to check back there in maybe 2 weeks or a month and see if maybe we can catch him as he's heading north.
Yeah.
Right.
But that, I think, of all the places we visited, except for Bray Road itself, I think this is the one that just screamed Dogman to me.
Yeah, there's not a lot of places where I myself will say that's prime territory.
Yeah.
But this is one of them where I will confidently say that.
I gotta say, the sightings that we've seen from Linda Godfrey's website and like her books and whatever, they seem really credible.
Yeah.
These sightings just look like prime Dogman territory.
Yeah, definitely. So that's our thoughts on the Dogman of McHenry County. And if any of you have seen a Dogman in McHenry County or anywhere close to there, we would love to hear about it. Or any other cryptid encounters, we'd love to hear about those. Please leave your notes in the comments section or fill out our anonymous sighting form. And as always, thank you very much for listening, and thank you for subscribing and telling your friends. We'll talk to you next time.